Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a close look at the upcoming 2025 Community Shield. We've gathered a whole stack of sources, match previews, the absolute latest team news, predictions too. Really, our mission is simple. We want to boil it all down, give you a quick but, really thorough understanding of this traditional curtain raiser. We'll get into its history, the significance, the teams involved this year, and what we might actually expect from the match itself, because there's a really fascinating story building here, a bit of a clash of styles, you could say. Okay, let's unpack this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And to really get this fixture, you kind of have to start at the beginning, right? It began as the Charity Shield way back in 1908. Now, for a long time, the format was, well, pretty varied. But it really found its feet in 1974, becoming this permanent thing at Wembley. That's when it locked into the format we know now.
Yeah.
The English champions versus the FA Cup winners. The name changed in 2002 to the Community Shield. But that core idea, raising funds for community projects and charities, that still continues, which is, I think, a great part of its identity.
Absolutely. And that identity, that history, some clubs have really made their mark, haven't they? You look at Manchester United leading the way with, 21 wins? Incredible. Then Arsenal in 17, Liverpool right behind them on 16, and Everton have 9 as well. It just shows, I think, for these top clubs, it's maybe more than just a friendly, it's that first taste of silverware, bit of a psychological boost for the season ahead.
Definitely. So let's bring it to this year then. Who have we got? It's Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace. That's this Sunday, August 10th, kicking off at 3 p.m. British Summer Time. And yeah, back at Wembley again.
Exactly. So Liverpool, they booked their spot by winning the Premier League title. And that was in Arne Slot's first season in charge, which is quite something. Their last time in the Community Shield wasn't long ago, 2022. They beat Man City 3-1 that day. And look, a win here for Liverpool would actually bring them level with Arsenal on 17 titles. So joint second overall. It's a big chance for Slot to really announce his arrival with a trophy right away. And on the other side, you've got Crystal Palace. Their story getting here is maybe even more remarkable, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is Crystal Palace's first ever Community Shield appearance. Think about that. They got here by winning the FA Cup, the first major trophy in the club's entire history. Beating Manchester City 1-0 in the final, that Ebereki Eze goal, just immense for them, especially, after losing finals back in 1990 and 2016. And that FA Cup win also got them into Europe, into the UEFA Europa Conference League. So yeah, this isn't just kicking off the season. It's another huge moment for Palace.
It really is. So Liverpool, the established giant, new manager eyeing another trophy, and Palace, the history makers, riding that FA Cup high. But this is where it gets really interesting, I think, when you look at how they've prepared over the summer, because it's been, completely different strategies, hasn't it, that could really shape how this match plays out.
Spot on there. Liverpool have had, a massive player turnover. Reports suggest they've spent over $250 million. Big names coming in. Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, Georgi Mamardashvili in goal. But at the same time, some really significant players have left. Luis Diaz, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Darwin Núñez, and of course the incredibly sad passing of Diogo Jota, which puts everything into perspective. So the insight here is, it's not just spending money, it's a major overhaul. Slot's trying to reshape this squad under pressure right before the season starts. Despite all that upheaval, though, their preseason results have actually been pretty strong. Good wins, only one loss, I think, to AC Milan.
Okay, so that's Liverpool's big gamble, the aggressive rebuild. What's the story at Crystal Palace then?
Very different. Completely different. Yeah, Palace's transfer window has been, remarkably quiet by comparison. Just 2 main signings, Borna Sosa, the left back, and Walter Benitez, an experienced keeper. Their main focus, it seems, has been on keeping hold of their key assets. Keeping Eze, keeping Marguehi. The strategy there seems to be all about stability, about building on what they achieved last season under Oliver Glasner. It's almost radical these days, isn't it? Choosing continuity over constant change. Their preseason form has been a bit more mixed, win and a loss against Augsburg, for example, but they're refining rather than rebuilding.
So Liverpool's huge investment versus Palace's focus on cohesion. How does that translate tactically onto the pitch at Wembley? What are we likely to see?
Well, the sources we looked at are pretty clear. They expect Liverpool to come out all guns blazing, a frightening offense under Slot. His approach seems very much, we'll just score more than you.
Yeah.
And the stats back that up, don't they? Last season, something like 63% of their games had over 2.5 goals. You add Salah, Wirtz, Ekitike to the mix. Yeah, you expect goals.
Sounds powerful, yeah. But with so many new faces, especially potentially in defense, and a new system bedding in, is there a weakness there? Could they be caught out early on?
That's exactly the potential vulnerability the sources highlight, these early defensive cracks.
Mm-hmm.
As Slot tries to figure out his best XI, integrate all these new players, especially someone like Mamardashvili, in goal, getting used to things. Yeah, they could be exposed, and that's where a team like Crystal Palace, who are settled, who know their system under Glasner, could really hurt them. You think about Jean-Philippe Mateta up front, his physicality and Eze's skill. They could definitely cause problems on the counter or from set pieces. So even if Liverpool look dangerous going forward, don't be surprised if Palace find the net too. It makes for a really intriguing tactical battle.
Yeah, it does. And speaking of individual threats, you mentioned Salah. He just keeps going, doesn't he? What's the insight there? Beyond just the goals, his consistency is unreal.
He really is something else. Scoring 25 or more goals for, 5 seasons running? That's just phenomenal consistency. I think the insight is that it's not just about the talent, which is obvious, but it's about this elite mentality, this dedication.
Yeah.
He lives for these big games. And yeah, he's got that funny record of scoring in every Community Shield he's played in, albeit all penalties, it has to be said.
Right.
But still, that shows composure, doesn't it?
Definitely shows composure. Okay, so pulling all that together, the attacking potential, the possible defensive gaps, the individuals, what are the actual predictions saying?
Right, so the main takeaways from the prediction sources lean towards Liverpool's firepower winning out, but not without a fight. They generally predict a Liverpool win, and also over 2.5 goals in the match, so expecting entertainment. Crucially, they also predict both teams to score. That fits the narrative, right? Liverpool's attack versus potential defensive issues and Palace's ability to exploit that. And yes, Mo Salah is heavily tipped as an anytime goal scorer. Given his form and history in this match, that makes a lot of sense based on the source material. And just quickly on the team news front, for Liverpool, it sounds like Alisson and Virgil van Dijk are back in training, which is obviously huge for them. Connor Bradley's looking like a doubt. Joe Gomez is still out, but apparently getting closer. Alexis McAllister might make the squad, but Slot said he's not quite ready for 90 minutes yet. Ryan Gravenberch, though, he's available. Slot also, interestingly, made a point of highlighting Palace's threat, mentioning counters, set pieces, long balls, and just the individual quality they have up top.
Okay, good updates there. And what about Palace? Any key players missing for their big day?
Yeah, a few confirmed absentees for Palace. Oliver Glasner said Czech Dukor, Matthias Franke, Caleb Porter, and Ellie Nketiah are all sidelined. So that does affect their depth a bit, particularly midfield and attack. But Glasner also stressed, the positive he said, that the core group, maybe 15 or 16 players from last season, are still there. And crucially, he feels they've started this pre-season at a completely different level compared to last year. So they sound confident in their preparation.
And we've heard from the managers and players too, haven't we? Gives you a sense of the mood. Arne Slot talking about Wembley being special and seeing this match as ideal preparation, almost like a crucial test before the league starts. While Glasner for Palace was keen to say, the past is gone, focus on defining new goals, not just basking in the FA Cup win, wants to build on it. And you hear it from the players too. Cody Gakpo wanting a good start for Liverpool. Chris Richards for Palace buzzing for another chance to win a trophy at Wembley. The hunger seems to be there on both sides. Which brings us neatly to that bigger question, really. All this build-up, the history, the contrasting styles, but what does it actually mean for the season? Does winning the Community Shield set you up for success? Or is it just a nice day out at Wembley?
It's a brilliant question, and honestly, the history throws up something really quite surprising. Officially, remember, it's classed as a friendly, so yellow cards, goals, assists. They don't carry over into the proper season stats. But here's the fascinating bit. Since the Premier League started back in '92, more teams who lost the Community Shield have gone on to win the league title, that's 10 losers, than teams who actually won the Community Shield. Only 8 winners. Think about that. And if you look more recently, only once in the last 15 years has a team done the Community Shield and Premier League double. That was Man City back in 2018-19.
Wait, so winning it might actually be a bad omen for the league title. Statistically speaking, that seems totally backwards what's going on there.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? You can guess a few reasons. Maybe the winners get a tiny bit complacent, having already lifted a trophy. Or maybe for the team that loses, it just adds that extra bit of motivation, that little chip on the shoulder heading into the long season. It could also just be that peaking in early August for the Community Shield isn't the same as having the consistency needed for the whole Premier League marathon. Maybe the loser is still building towards their peak. It's hard to say for sure. Could be psychological, could be physical timing. But the stats are certainly food for thought.
Wow. Okay, so there you have it. We've covered the the deep history of the Shield, looked at the very different paths Liverpool and Palace have taken this summer. We've touched on the predictions' likely goals, maybe from both sides, and that really counterintuitive statistic about what winning or losing might mean for the Premier League race. So the final thought to leave you with is this. If history tells us winning this trophy isn't necessarily the golden ticket for league success, does the focus shift? Is this match more about the performance, about building momentum, maybe sending a message, rather than the actual silverware itself? And could there even be, dare I say it, a strange hidden advantage in not being the team celebrating at Wembley this Sunday? Something to chew on as you watch the game. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.